Hey guys, it's Claire Bear, and today I thought we would talk about Stranger Things Season 3. Let's go! Okay, Stranger Things Season 3, it happened. Came out a few days ago, July 4th if I'm not mistaken. Let's talk about the good things first, because I was a little disappointed by this season. I felt empty afterwards. Not in like Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows last page empty, like empty as if like why did I watch this? This is the exact same thing as season 2. You know what I mean? They added a couple new characters, which is fine. We learn more about those new characters and their personality, and we learn new things about the older characters. That's the standard, because at the base, Stranger Things is plot, like the base is the plot, which is the Upside Down and all the weird monsters and stuff that come out of it, and then the characters are what carry the story. Because I think we can all agree that almost pretty much every actor in this story is, you know who they are. They are a defined character, and it doesn't matter how small they are, they're just very well defined characters, and the character development in Stranger Things is incredible. However, I felt like this season was lackluster, and I'm going to explain why. So, one thing, it's okay to have unlikable characters in a story, but for me, I just can't. Every season, I like Nancy less, okay? She just comes off as this prissy, girl who, always thinks that she knows best or whatever. But while all the time being relatable because she's doing things wrong and making mistakes and going through life or whatever. But for me personally, every season, I just like her less. Season 1, I really liked her. But the thing is that I love Steve, but I'm glad that he's not with Nancy because he deserves better than Nancy. Sorry, Jonathan, But, I think what's really good about this season is that we learn that the representation in terms of gay, lesbian characters is very seamless in my opinion, especially because they never say it, which I think is how it's better. No one says I'm gay or I'm a lesbian. It's just in there and you have to be paying attention to catch it. We find out that Will, he's gay. And you find out that that girl, I don't remember her name, the girl that Steve worked with, forget her name, she is a lesbian, and that's the reason she was obsessed with Steve, was because, the girl that she liked him, so that was not cool. But I felt like for that scene where we find that out is a little bit forced, in my opinion. I feel like the one with Will, that was seamless as all heck, man. That was the best, that was just the best. I loved that. I thought that was just so seamlessly done. But the second time they did it, a few episodes later, it felt more forced. And it felt like they just didn't want to give us the cliche, oh, I've been obsessed with you since high school, let's make out now. I feel like they didn't want Steve, because Steve and Dustin have to be, the single men trying to get the girl. And I know Dustin isn't single anymore, but you know what I mean. In the show, he might as well be, because it only really matters till the very end, okay? And she's in Utah, it just doesn't really count the same way. They My issue is that, not my issue. My thing is that Dustin and Steve have to be, they are so opposite, but the thing is that they're so alike And it's so funny to see them argue because they're arguing over, like, the weirdest stuff because they're both so similar. And they'll never admit it, but I think it's really funny. And that was cool. I love Dustin and Steve, one of my favorite characters. I really, one thing, since we're talking about characters now, I want to talk about Elle. Elle has grown up so much throughout this show. Like, do we all remember, like, the season 1 buzz cut, doesn't really know how to talk. Like, now she's like, I'm a woman, I'm coming for you. It was just, I really liked seeing Elle come into her own. And you can think whatever you want about Millie Bobby Brown, but I think that the acting was great. I think that Elle just really came into her own, and her relationship with Mike was really cute, in my opinion. Oh my god, it was so cute. And then, oh my god, when Dustin had to sing that song to get that Plague's Constant or whatever it was. Oh my god, that was great. Okay, so I think that's all I really want to say about the season, and now I want to talk about the last episode. I was a little disappointed with the whole season because I felt like it lacked, like, it was just so redundant of the second one, where, there's the Upside Down, there's people over here, let's go fight them. We learn what Will's picture was all about the whole time. And that's really it. Like, nothing, it was easier to watch for me because second season was kind of hard for me to watch because of how, like, weird this, not the devil dogs or whatever they're called, like the demigorgons, like, it was just weird for me to watch. But I feel like because of that, there was just more to it. Whereas this, it was more, like, stripped down and really basic because it was about, like, one big monster that they had to really go for. And then there's kind of this weird side plot with Billy on the side. And I'm like, okay. And then, he dies. But the last episode, man, it's got me a little weird. When Hopper died, like, he didn't die. I was like, why is everyone acting as if he died? They never found the body. Like, there's no scene where the cops are, like, looking over the body. And that's all done on purpose. You know why? Because he's not dead. And then if you look at the credits, and then you look after the credits, there's a scene where the Russians are in this prison facility, underground or whatever, and, they take the guy, feed it to the devil dog or whatever, and you know what happens? They go by a bunch of doors, right? And you know what the Russian guy says? He says, not the American, and they don't open the door. You know who's in that room? Hopper. Hopper's alive. Like, we just need to be calm about this. Hopper's alive. I don't know why they need him, but he's there. He knows too much, probably. He did kind of wreck their whole facility and kill a bunch of people. So he's in trouble. But I think my main takeaway from this season is that really it was a setup for season 4. Because this season was lackluster. I really liked the Americana-ness. Like, I liked how it was very, like, Americana, and, like, there was a lot of throwbacks to how shopping malls were coming in at this time during the U.S., and there was a little bit of, like, stuff I learned from my U.S. history class, and that was really cool. I think the main takeaway of this whole season is that it's setting up for season 4, because there's no way that Netflix would put out something this lackluster on such a big, like, $1 million franchise, because it just doesn't happen like that. And I think it was good, like, I enjoyed watching it, but it's just, after seeing season 2, it's just, like, it felt like such a direct copy of season 2, And that's part of the reason why, you know, I don't like a lot of things, is because the sequel is just the exact copy of the first one. So, and I get that there's not really a lot they can do at this point because, I mean, they kind of milked it this season a little bit because, it's just, there's not a lot you can do. It's the Upside Down. And they're going to do different things with that. But I feel like they could have done so much more with this season, and I feel like I think we have to keep in mind that this is just a setup for season 4, because those, like, zombie people, we never really, we didn't completely understand that, because there was the scene where they came together and, like, they did the weird, they conglomerate or whatever, turned into mush. That was, but, that was great, but, I think that could have been a whole thing on its own. You know what I mean? Like, that could have been its own thing. Like, people going, I feel like they could have done more with that. I know they did throughout the season, like, whether it was with the mayor or with, the old lady with the rats. Like, they did do stuff with it, but I feel like that could have been more of, like, taken advantage of during the season. But I think what we need to what I have to do in order to, like, not freak out over this season, because nothing really happened, in my opinion, except that Hopper is alive and he's in some Russian prison, okay? My main point is that I think it's setting up for season 4. And I'm excited for season 4. Like, I'm going to keep watching the series. Like, I'm not going to stop watching it because I thought that there could be more pizzazz to season 3. No, I think season 4 is going to be a lot better, just in terms of, I think that's what, like, now it's not going to be completely about the Upside Down, because they're going to have to rescue Hopper, and they're going to have to deal with Billy's death, and so on, and Will's family moved. So there's a lot to, like, remember. Like, most of the important things happen in the last episode. That's where, like, everything actually happens, and that's significant because that's how you can tell they're setting up for something way bigger, and they just needed kind of an excuse for all of these different pieces to come together. And yeah, I'm excited for season 4. Thanks for listening to what I had to say. I'll see you in the next one.